Hello everybody, GL1 here. Welcome to my online toy museum. Today I'm going to talk about Nemesis Prime. Now right here in the foreground is Nemesis Prime, which is a mammoth. Turns into a mammoth. Now we've seen Optimus Prime as a lion, and we've seen Optimus Prime as an alligator, and in episode 322 recently, Optimus Prime even was a T-Rex, and he's been a fire engine and many other kinds of vehicles, right? Usually, though, an 18-wheeler. So, in 2004, I found this Nemesis Prime, which is about the same time that I found Megatron, and that was during the Beast Wars era, or Beast Machines were still really popular. And if you remember from the last episode, if you didn't see that, here is Magmatron. And Magmatron is a Giganotosaurus, a Quetzalcoatl, and Elasmosaurus, and combines into a figure that actually fights against big convoy Mammoth Optimus Prime, the Optimus Prime version of this, not that this is the Nemesis Prime. And that actually came in a 2-pack in Japan, and now that's about $336. So now both this Magmatron and the Nemesis Prime Mammoth were $20 each. So they didn't cost a lot back then, but they gave you a ton of features and a lot more than what you get today, certainly for the money. And if you can find the Optimus Prime version of this for around $150, $170. So this is just a fantastic Transformer, and let me show you why. Now, the only downside of it is he's got a big bazooka. The trunk and everything becomes a bazooka, which is really heavy and makes him fall over a lot. So that's always been a problem. But other than that, let me show you here. It's got ball joint articulation, so you have a lot of motion. You have a reddish clear plastic, which is kind of neat. He's got these weapons that pop out here, and they're a little bit difficult to get. I have it on the other arm. You see, I have one out, and it actually pegs into the hand underneath. So I don't know if it's a laser or just some kind of baton. Seems like a baton. And like the T-Rex Megatron, it's got these side missiles, and they even look like the ones on Megatron. So those are spring-loaded. And then look, you have sort of like a boomerang-looking weapon. So it's got 2 of those. And then up in the shoulders, it has like, what look like maybe rockets, which is similar to another Nemesis Prime. This fella here, which in the Japanese Armada Nemesis Prime was called Scourge. So you can see the shoulders, they pop open, and then you have like all these missiles. And then here is the Optimus version of that Nemesis Prime. So Nemesis Prime is always black, and the story behind Nemesis Prime changes a little bit. It's always a clone of Optimus Prime. That's why it looks like Optimus Prime. So they did, like I said, they did make a Mammoth version of this, but I never saw it. So I don't have it, but I like this one a lot, and I'm happy with that. But he was a clone, and he has a dark spark, which can cancel out Optimus Prime's spark of, or matrix, matrix of leadership. So he has a dark matrix, and that opens up, and that even comes out. So this dark matrix, see that? There you go. And look, it's a little clear sphere inside there. Dark matrix of leadership. All right, so he's a clone, and sometimes he's independent. Sometimes he's a Decepticon. Sometimes he gets his power from Unicron. One of the stories is that he was made by the anti-U.S. government alliance, like an anti-alliance to the Transformers, and they cloned Nemesis, Optimus Prime, and gave him this dark spark, and so he's got it in for Optimus Prime. But he also has it in for Decepticons as well, and in one of the storylines, Optimus Prime and Megatron, as Galvatron, had to join forces to defeat Nemesis Prime, because Nemesis Prime actually is often more of a dangerous foe and often than Optimus Prime. Even though they have the same powers, he has no compunction. This is really difficult to get out. He has no compunction against using of killing, and in fact, he just likes killing anything. So he's a psychopath. So we can use the sword here and pull that out. So you can see, I'm just trying to show you how difficult this is. But there's the peg, and then that just goes down there. So I'm going to transform him into a mammoth. But I thought what's also interesting is that there are very few or none. I mean, as far as I've ever seen, this is the only Optimus Prime type of figure that turns into an elephant-like creature. In fact, I don't even know of any other elephant Transformers. Certainly not easy to find. So that's something unique to appreciate. So this we saw in a recent episode is the Scourge, Nemesis Prime version. Okay. And that's difficult to get that sword in there. There we go. Okay. So, all right. So that, of course, looks like this one. So I will transform this mammoth, but we're going to look at something else real quick. And this goes with that. This is the trailer to the Scourge, Nemesis Prime. And it's got a station for repair. And then that, folds together and that becomes a tanker truck, okay? But also, before we transform this guy, there's an Optimus Prime that goes to Bumblebee, right? So this is the Bumblebee Optimus Prime. And recently I started looking at Temu, and Temu offered a version of this. I think the colors actually might be different on the Temu version, a little bit brighter maybe and shinier red, but I didn't get that. But what I did get is I got their Dark Commander, which really is just Nemesis Prime. So this is the box it came in, and this was only $17, and Mechanical Alliance, what that is. But this is the Nemesis Prime version of the Bumblebee Optimus Prime. So you can see this is what it looks like in vehicle mode. And you can see that the plastic is a shinier color. You can see that this red is dull, this black is shinier. And the wheels, it's definitely obvious on the wheels. You can see that the Nemesis Prime has a shinier black plastic for the tires and for the wheels. And the gun also, I think it's a little bit of a shinier plastic. Now, this is just an extra piece I had laying around to a broken transformer, so I just put it on there. But yeah, so we can take a look. The gun just pushes into there. But yeah, so now that plastic is really close. I think this is a little bit shinier. So anyway, so that is the Nemesis Prime you can get on Temu for $17. One thing they didn't have in the instructions, which is really critical because it took a while to figure out, that this piece here was in the way until I realized that this here folds in. So this piece here folds in, and if you kept putting it like that, this is what you ended up with. So you're like, well, it doesn't go the other way, it doesn't go this way, and then I'm like, this has got to move, and eventually I moved it, and I go, oh, okay, so there's that. All right, so now it'll roll. Okay, so just that's one little tip. But the fit and finish of this, I mean, I was concerned that the quality wasn't going to be as good as like a Hasbro or Takara, but no, it's every bit as good. So there you go. All right, so this Nemesis Prime. All right, take a look before we transform him into a mammoth. We're going to take a look at this bazooka because it's pretty neat. All right, so the back here, it's like a rubbery kind of plastic that's flexible, okay? And this is where the handle is for the bazooka. But what's unique about it is it has these two missiles in here. And the way that it fires, you have a spool here, and you turn it, and then that fires that missile. And then if you turn it the other way, you just turn it again, and then it fires the top missile. So that way you can fire both missiles independently. So that's pretty neat. It's kind of like the G.I. Joe thing. There's a G.I. Joe that did the same thing. All right, so that's his gigantic bazooka. That's kind of a little bit too heavy for him. But you can see also that these are flexible, also the flexible plastic. And so just take a good look at him. And lots of joints. You can see the way that it moves around. Get your mammoth legs that look like actually like maybe jets that he can fly around with. You have great articulating heel, ball joint in the toe. You have the waist that turns. And, the shoulders and the head moves all directions. Remember, this thing's 20 years old, so it's quite a nice transformer, and for $20. And then those can fold out, right, to make him look more intimidating, I suppose. And those are on a ball joint, so if he were to, maybe use his tusks in battle, can move those around. So just not only just great armed, you have a joint there, and you have your, sort of fake hydraulics there, but that looks cool too, But yeah, you just get a lot of motion with this transformer. All right, so we're going to make him into a mammoth right now. Okay, so finally, exhaustingly, I managed to get this into a form resembling a mammoth. This is very difficult, I found, getting these pieces in there to fit, the fit and finish. But okay, so this is the mammoth form of Nemesis Prime, and you can see here that if you pull the ears back, you can get some action with the horns. Pretty cool, right? So even in mammoth form, it has some features, and you can even turn these around and then fire your belly missiles in this case now, right? So there's your belly missile. All right, so I wanted to explain the difference, though, between a mammoth and an elephant. So they are related, of course. They look very similar. The African elephant, these pieces, they come off very easily, and they go back together easily, which is nice. So you don't break things. So that will just pop back on there. Okay, so there's 15 different recognized species of mammoths, and they vary in size quite a bit. So this is a model of an African elephant, and let's say this is a pretty large one, so 15 to 20,000 pounds. The largest African elephant ever was discovered was 24,000 pounds and is in the Smithsonian right there in front. So the North American mammoth is actually smaller than the African elephant, and in some ways even smaller than an Indian elephant. Shorter, more compact body. An African elephant can be 24 feet long from the end of the tail to the trunk, and mammoths are about 20. Now, there was a mammoth that was larger than an African elephant. It is the Columbian mammoth, and they moved northward to North America about 1 million years ago. and they could weigh anywhere between 15 and 20,000 pounds, but even they think up to 30,000 pounds, which is really gigantic. And their height was 12 to 17 feet tall. 17 feet is taller than a giraffe. So if you go ahead and you look, if you Google mammoth compared to an elephant, you can see pictures and you'll see how big that could get. The other thing that's really impressive about a mammoth is the tusks. The tusks on a mammoth can be 16 feet long, whereas on an African elephant about 6 feet long. So that's just some information there to compare. I was going to say, well, we can just pretend this is a Colombian mammoth. I mean, why would Nemesis Prime or Optimus Prime as a mammoth be anything less, right? But if you see it next to this African elephant, clearly the African elephant is larger, and there are even pygmy mammoths, which are pretty small. So, all right. Well, thanks for watching, and now you know a little bit something about Nemesis Prime and mammoths. So I will be talking to you soon. Take care.